Hey guys, so welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2. Let's carry on where we left off. We're continuing our investigation. Mr. Shamspear's room. It seems he's got more secrets than he's letting on. In fact, we've seen fingerprints all over the show, thanks to Herlock Sholmes' latest invention / concoction. So let's go take a look over here underneath the floorboards. That's where one of them were. The other was over here by the painting. Unfortunately, there was no safe or anything hidden behind it. Quite the disappointment, but that's okay. I'd love to know if there's anything hidden underneath that floorboard there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're all, well, acquainted. Go on, please. Try to be socially aware. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there. Seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends? Oh. Well, by golly. No, I suppose not. Plan B? Anyone? A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Ugh. Kill to know what was under that floorboard. Thankfully, I'll just keep that a private thought. I don't want to admit that in front of an inspector. And a detective. Well, what do you got? Alright then. Fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. Suppose I should at least fill you in. Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. If there's one thing I know about this man, it's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There were 3 items under the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? Oh, okay. 3 different things. Let's start with the newspaper clipping. Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time up in Manchester. How terrible. Who is that? Made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see. But nature got him first. Oh my goodness. He committed a capital offense. Man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work. Into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he'd knocked off was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Of treasure, you mean? Jewelry and the like. But he'd hidden it somewhere. No one knows where. And now he's dead. I see. Papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell. Or some such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Surprised you haven't found that already, Sholmes. Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor. No comment on that one. Suppose now you mention it. It does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork we've got on Selden back in the yard and see if I can turn anything up. Capital offender article has been entered into the court record. Newspaper article about Selden, a criminal sentenced to receive the death penalty. However, he died of illness in prison whilst his loot remained undiscovered. Okay, maybe Shamspear was his partner in crime or something, and he's trying to take back what's owed to him. Photographic print. I take it all 3 of these things will get entered into the court record. I see, it's Mr. Garadeb. So there's the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Yes, would appear to have been taken on the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, of course. Who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garadeb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really? Are you sure? I'll treasure it with all my heart. Thank you for giving me evidence. I can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows. The identity of the young fellow, that is. Oh, is that true? Well? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. Oh. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. All the more reason I'm not telling you. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. Deja vu. The hidden photograph has been entered into the court record. A photographic print found in Mr. Shamspear's room shows the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, together with a young man. I wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. I mean, Mr. Shamspear himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garrett was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud president of it. I see. Last but not least, the tin box. This tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it. If you were to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case, I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funnily enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shakespeare! Give us a clue, man!
You didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. But anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box.
Yes, thin air. It's empty. Rather like how I feel inside. Oof. Is there nothing more to this box then? I wonder. Can I keep it? If it's empty, it surely shouldn't matter. Uh-oh. Kitty cat. Hello? Just taking a seat.
Oh look, it's that lovely kitty cat. What was its name?
It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. How we got in here? Clever cat.
Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai, here's something delicious I brought for you from the cat's meat man.
Oh, well, Wagahai looks delighted. Go on, nom nom away.
You couldn't be happier now, look.
I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner, too. Hopefully outside of prison, because you can still be happy on the inside, although I can't imagine how. Anything else, Gregson? Or are we done here? Let's examine Wagahai here. Cute kitty. Stretch away. Oh my gosh. I feel like this scene was made for 3D or something. I am missing 3D glasses, and Wagahai's head was meant to poke out of my monitor. That was a cheeky little meow, Wagahai.
Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever.
I think you may not appreciate that after a while. And we have an investigation to get back to. Right. Anything else to examine here before we depart? I suppose a couple of things we can do is actually examine our evidence. The capital offender article. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester's Strange Ways prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden, just an anonymous name, by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. That's it. Okay. Good to know. And the hidden photograph, we can't spin it around or anything. We just have Mr. Karadib and an artist of some kind. I don't suppose there's any relation to Olive Green, who's an art school student. Given that he's got some paintbrushes in his picture. It could be possible. We'll keep an open mind. He's got a similar face, right? Or maybe I'm just grasping for straws. We should probably visit Mr. Natsume and assure him that we're on the job. Oh god, he's just facing the wall. 22nd February, local prison. Cell 9.
Oh, Mr. Natsume's back.
So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello! Oh god. I thought he was going to burst into maniacal laughter or something. Turned out he went psycho. I am a cat. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is. Or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat. That's what I am. Just a cat. Okay, well, this isn't that type of game, alright? I can't say the name of the game because that would be spoilers, but you probably know what I'm talking about if you're aware.
Mr. Naruhodo, he's trying to escape from reality.
Better than trying to escape from prison. Trying to, he already has. Completely. So, what is your name then? As yet I have no name.
Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality.
Do you think you could open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? Please. Look at me.
No, I'm still in the prison. I am not a cat.
I feel like I've just sucked away his soul by having him confess he's not a cat. Poor dude. It was like that was his last bastion of defense.
It worked. He's back in the real world.
For better or worse. Susato, for better or worse.
What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that! It's obvious! Ah, my accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate! Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope. Yes, yes. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent! In court, in my lodgings! Here, there, everywhere!
What's he looking straight at me for? Don't tell me he's right behind me. I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss.
Oh, yes. Yes, we must.
Alright, let's have a conversation. Don't you dare start meowing at me. This morning's trial.
In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just block those out, then today, being in that courtroom was the most moving experience of my life! Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
You're too kind.
Scotland Yard found the remaining tea, just as we've deduced, and are analysing it as we speak. There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn sworn Soseki certainty.
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot.
Okay.
We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. And at the time, you were both completely fine.
As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspear then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. Okay, Mr. Shamspear. Does he have a grudge against you or something?
That rotten Shamspear, what have I ever done to him?
Did you beat him in that match? He might be holding a grudge. You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything. Anything at all.
Right.
But what I don't understand is why you didn't let me know sooner. Let you know what, Mr. Natsume? About the soap, of course. What else? Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend? Of course I am. If I had money, I wouldn't have chosen to live an accursed existence in such accursed lodgings.
Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly. Especially the room that I rent. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts the place. And it's trying to kill me.
Ha! Okay. So the capital offender used to live at your place. And that would be why Shamspear is up to no good in that joint. Capital offender?
Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps?
You need soap? Interesting. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I've exhausted all line of questioning, but I don't think I can go back to Soseki's room, unfortunately. I can go to the Garadeb's room. Maybe we'll have a speak with Mr. Garadeb. He can explain who's in the photograph. And any past, well, people who used to live at his place.
Mr. Garadeb appears to be out.
Oh well. I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. Alright, never mind. Moving along. Where are we going? Briar Road? I suppose we should check it out. What's going on out here? 22nd February, Briar Road. Nothing. Fantastic. What are we missing here? Of course, I just realized we should probably present the capital offender article here. That might help.
What's this?
It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Oh, so he knew that, did he?
Sorry?
About this man, Selden. A convicted killer. And the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable, mustached, butchered, maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Is it actually an evil spirit? Capital offender, Selden.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garadeb's house.
What? He lived where you do now?
That's right, yes. Exactly where I live now. In my very room.
Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense.
Before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started. The curse.
Surely it'd be haunting his old cell, right? Not his old place. Apparently it wasn't even his place, it was just a hideout. What really is the curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger. He was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside.
Don't tell me it's that gentleman in the picture. Locked from the inside. Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it?
Yes. Well, that was the start of it.
I see. The convict's curse. Alright, this case is getting juicier by the minute. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Gas?
I only found that out after I'd signed the lease. When Mr. Garadeb came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I'd known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. My hand would have been too shaky to even sign the contract. Landlord's lease, luckily legal.
Lucky for Mr. Garadeb, maybe. Not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe this curse is affecting you?
It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up. And then the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold?
London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
But that's terrible. That's not good living conditions. You should file a complaint about Mr. Garadeb. He's a fucking useless landlord. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident that can be explained by a curse, though.
Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garadeb's rooms?
Someone's sneaking around, trying to find this lost treasure. I don't suppose I can present this hidden photograph to you? Sorry, I always examine it before presenting it. Mr. Natsume, it's nothing much, but guess not.
It's been too long since I've been offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland.
What?
You're too kind. I accept it gladly.
Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. I just wanted to see if you knew who this person was. I guess not. Okay, now I think we're done here. Where to next? Back to the Garadebs. Since we got a title plate here, he must be back. Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's room. There he is. Oh, you're here now, Mr. Garadeb. Right, bally business it is for me, you know. getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally. Fate of my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss. The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know?
Yes, I'm sure it does.
What the hell are you doing here, Sholmes?
In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago. You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened.
Stopped off at the prison on the way home. In fact, beastly business. I see. Beastly business. Lovely. Oh, he's standing up. So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Here to talk about some people, your lodgers and your lodgings. Let's start with your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor, chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bally curse. Convict's curse, you mean? Ah, I heard the stories, have you? Rotten scoundrel was arrested here, then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was that woman who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. This fucking place, I swear, is bad for business, I tell you. Am I next, eh? Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can you?
When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green?
Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamsphere, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why? It sounds like the lap of luxury. I don't know, it sounds like it's freezing overnight, dude. Unless you're sleeping in that coat, I wouldn't want to stay here. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? Who am I kidding? You're a landlord, you do not. By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up here. Yeah, yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things. Definitely do that because I'm not nosy and I actually care about their well-being, yes. In case there are any mishaps or such like. I think you've had your mishaps already, sir. That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me. The words just came to my lips. Your lodgers. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor, a chap of questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Garrett. You've already told us that before.
That's right. Mr. Natsume is no way fishy.
Yeah, I will also not have you disparage my client. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone and he popped up the very same day. Never came across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the room's background he was keen on so much as the cheap rent, actually. At least he priced it accordingly.
So, how long has Mr. Shamsphere been lodging under your roof?
That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Since October, huh? Only 3 months. It's quite new here too, then. And to what do you owe your certainty in that regard, Mr. Garrett, if I might ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and Shamsphere have some kind of connection, then? Shamspere's tenancy. That convict chap, Selden, he passed away in this clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some lady or other.
Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time.
Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember it quite distinctly.
'Tis small, this world we inhabit, Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspear, do desire to take thy room on the middle floor, offered erewhile for rent.
Terribly sorry and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor room's vacant, though.
Oh, really? You already have a lodger there? Well, I must kill him and take his place. Nothing can be made out of nothing.
Let me repeat mine will unto thee. Those curs must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor is taken. It's ground floor or nothing.
Very well, we have an accord.
Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road.
Lo, a Shamspear dance to celebrate.
God. I'm in a wheelchair, I can't dance with you. From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And it was 3 months in arrears with the rent, too. Yes, the fellow was a bally player, alright.
3 months in arrears, you didn't kick him out?
Probably for the best, he might have ended up dead. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garadeb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me.
That's more than 1 or 2. What's happening to you?
Shakespeare, my dear fellow. One of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own learning of the subject. For I have a turn for literature too, you know.
Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines then. Okay, well, I think it's time now to present that photo and see what you can come up with. Mr. Garadeb, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Look at this photograph. Is that your son who's with you there?
No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name.
Duncan Ross.
Street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot. Just for kicks, really.
Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume?
Yes, that's right. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Probably killed by Shamspear. Just what Mr. Moustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs before that Japanese chap.
Would you mind telling us a little more about him?
The lodger's death. Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room about a year ago, after that criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe, yes. Yes, well, anyway, it was one morning about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers were up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. The smell of gas that alerted me it was. Ah, yes, synonymous with the smell of death. Yes, gas. Called the police straight away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, all bolly collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, the room was full of it. No air at all. Snow must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after he had all that work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night while he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the bally curse, the convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. I did the bare minimum. I fixed it.
Someone's feeling defensive. Yeah, quivering lips and whatnot.
Ah, that reminds me, actually.
Yes?
About young Duncan. The night before the poor chap perished. He'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady.
A love letter, you mean?
Yes. Where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left it on my desk. Why did you keep it? If you'll excuse me. Let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence?
My dear Miss Susato, that is precisely why I preface my reading with, if you'll excuse me. Because, yeah, that's the skeleton key, you see, that'll let me do whatever I want.
I will not excuse you, Mr. Shames, no!
Oh my god, she's standing up to him. as long as I don't get taken down. Sadly, he didn't address it, though. So I have no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see. It's going to play on my mind.
But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well alone.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing. However, there is a name attributed to the man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart.
Mr. Sholmes, please. I've already had to chastise you about this once.
My undying love to you, my colourful darling. Olive Green.
Ah.
Olive Green? Oh, I knew there was a connection there. The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago. Damn. Even Duncan's haunting this place, and he delivered a knife to his sweetheart instead of his letter. Goodness, this curse is out of control. The victim of the last case Saseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday. Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence?
Mr. Naruhodo, whatever can this mean?
Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Susato. Oh god. That shocked face. Well, what a development. I suppose we can pay a visit to Miss Green over at the hospital. Miss Green, you've got some explaining to do. At least you would if you were still here. Of course, she may still load in once this nameplate's gone. 22nd February, St. Bartholomew's Hospital, Recovery Ward. Nope, it's just Susato who loads in.
Mr. Naruhodo, I just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last.
This is good news, but hopefully just before she leaves. Ah! What is it? She loaded in over there. Okay. Miss Green!
Huh?
Are you okay? What on earth are you trying to drink? What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. Now it's on her front.
What? One moment. I'll be with you in a jiffy.
Excuse you?
Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? The doctor said I could be discharged, so I'm just getting my things together. Miss Green, what were you just doing? Oh, nothing, really. I was just about to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all.
Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's alright.
I don't really have anything else to tell you.
Alright, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can't coax something out of her. Let's take a look. What do we got here? A photo? Or a card, sorry. This is the card that Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it?
Mr. Naruhodo, we should be peeking at a young woman's private effects.
Right. I should say peeking for gentlemen's effects only.
You mustn't do that either.
And maybe you, Miss Susato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either, Okay, what about the bottle? Is this really medicine? This is the bottle that Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived.
Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she?
Perhaps it's very bitter. Can't stand bitter medicine. She looked very hesitant before drinking it. It has me concerned.
I suppose that could be it.
In fact, whenever a doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. And considering we're dealing with a case of poison, I'm kind of scared.
Oh no!
Well, if you have to take something you don't like, it's best to get it all out of the way in one go, isn't it?
Oh dear. I thought it was Miss Green I should be worrying about at the moment.
From having examined Miss Green's bottle before it falls from the table. Down in one. Okay, well, thanks for that 5-second foreshadowing achievement. I guess that bottle's gonna fall off the table. I should try and stop it. Hospital discharge. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green.
Oh yes, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyway.
What do you mean people like you?
So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably shouldn't stand around and chat.
She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk, that's for sure. She's in an awful hurry to get out of here. You know that bottle's about to fall over, so I hope there's nothing precious inside, otherwise you should definitely try and preserve it. I'm going to present the card. No, I don't present the card because I don't have it in the court record. I have the hidden photograph instead. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross. You knew him, didn't you?
Huh?
There you go. What on earth? Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did.
Oh, Miss Green, are you alright?
Oh, well, I guess she's gonna have to stay another night. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that, and I should have really told you that that bottle was going to fall. I didn't realize you were going to be the cause of it, though.
No, it's alright. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan?
Well, I'm an investigator by day and a lawyer by the next day.
Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter. To you. I tried to stop them from reading it, but men, seriously. Oh. It was at the art school. That's where I met Duncan, a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day. And the two of you became romantically involved. Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room, to save money for the wedding.
Oh no. And he took upon a curse. And that's what led him to Mr. Garadeb's.
Yes, he told me he'd found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened.
There's a lesson in that, you know? Don't go for the cheapest, nor the most expensive. Always go for middle of the road. I remember having to move house a couple of times, and every time my mother would choose the cheapest movers available, and every time there'd be something broken, or something missing, or both. And I told her every time, don't skip out on movers. Go middle of the road, okay? Don't go for the cheapest, because you will get what you pay for. Absolutely shit quality.
I'm so terribly sorry, Miss Green. Well, it's all in the past now, I suppose. Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad.
I was starting to think that's just her look. Come on, Ryunosuke, have some empathy. Now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. Especially that particular block of apartments.
I do hope you won't think of being rude, but... Would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital soon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruhodo! Bloody just twirled into this hospital room? Surely you were not about to leave. That's quite out of the question. What? Mr. Sholmes? I didn't realize you were here. I should have, but I didn't. But of course I was, my dear fellow. Watching intently from the shadows as always. Really? Were you hanging from the cupboards? Because I definitely didn't see you this time. Wow, you're really improving your technique. Well, make your presence known next time, even though you're pretty bad at being stealthy anyway.
Mr. Sholmes, what's this about?
Hey, that rat is fucking dead! By the bottle! Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Miss Susato, is this. Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it's happened, instead of preventing a case before it happens? That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There's a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruhodo. I think I'm on what you're saying there, Mr. Sholmes. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So let us avert disaster. Let us prevent this case from ever happening. With nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You need only look, and you cannot fail to see.
You can do it, Mr. Naruhodo. I know you can.
I feel like I'm in an episode of Dora the Explorer right now. Can you spot the thing that's wrong in this room? The dead rat next to the poisonous liquid. Although Miss Green's doing a very good job of covering it up right now. Nope, can't converse with her. I'll examine the bottle. What's going on here? That mouse seems to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it there before, did you?
I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. Is it poisonous to rats?
You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of the scene. Look at this guy, he's just like patiently waiting for us to arrive at the same deduction, not like we do the same thing to him every other time. That of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place, pun intended. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before are spilt out on the floor. And the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison. Don't worry. I will attend to the mouse presently. Damn, okay, Susato, read the rat's last rites, please. We will bury it in the snow outside. Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as that rodent? To take your own life? Ah! Once we'd left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison?
No! Miss Green, please. Please talk to us.
Come on, Miss Green. What the hell's going on? Is it just because the universe is against you? Is someone forcing you to drink this? I need to take another look at this card. It definitely feels as though this card must be relevant. I mean, when we first arrived, Miss Green was standing with it in her hand in what can only be described as a very tense atmosphere.
Yes. It may very well be related to whatever incident Mr. Sholmes believes was about to happen here. Perhaps we should ask Miss Green about it.
Alright. Now I'm allowed to look at it. Thanks, Susato. Let's start with the card itself.
Neither the sender's name or address appear to be written on the envelope or the card. It arrived by post at my home the day before the incident that put me in hospital here.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Oh. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. And before you could make it, you got stabbed in the back from above. Wait a minute. The 17th? Of this month? That's the day you were stabbed on Briar Road. Had the meeting already taken place?
And 5 p.m.
I can't remember. It's precisely the time when the incident occurred. Okay, she was about to meet, or she had just come out of it? The Slug and Salad. Yes. A pub on the northern corner of Briar Road. Briar Road. Being the street that Mr. Garrett house is on.
Does this mean that... yes. I'm sure you've guessed. That day when I was struck in the back by the knife, I was actually on my way to the Slug and Salad.
Okay, so you were on your way there.
Goodness.
So that's what you were doing on Briar Road that day.
I'm sorry I didn't say anything before.
Okay, well, if we've still got the exciting music playing, I gotta follow this through. What's up? 10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. In all probability, we would not have enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green. Well, I'm glad we intervened. Poor lady. She doesn't deserve this fate.
Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted.
It's usually the case. Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine?
Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine me in the mornings, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I stuck this out when he wasn't looking.
It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains.
I'm afraid I don't really know, but I thought if I drank it, it might just stop the pain somehow.
Oh, Miss Green. Let's give her a hug! All of us, group hug right now!
Oh, please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things.
Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison.
Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that. Oh no. Oh, it's all my fault. What have I done?
It's okay. It was just a mouse. It could have been worse. It could have been you, Miss Green. Okay? I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. I take it you have no objection?
No, none.
She's trembling.
I think I really will have to ask you to excuse me now.
Okay, but I feel like I need to put you on a 24-hour watch or something, at least until this trial's over.
I've told you everything.
Yes. I'm very sorry to have had to drag up such painful memories for you.
No, it's fine. Miss Green, please promise us you won't try to do anything like that again. Yes, don't worry. Your detective friend has the bottle now anyway. And besides, I've been stabbed in the back and had a close shave with a bottle of poison, and I'm still here.
It's the universe trying to tell you something, Miss Green. You still need to be in this world.
I think I'm destined to see things through to the end.
Exactly. For Duncan Ross.
It might sound a little conceited, but, well, that's how all this has made me feel.
Crisis averted, leaving Miss Green and St. Bartholomew's behind. We made our way back to Baker Street with Mr. Sholmes. Oh, it's getting dark. Well, it would appear we've reached the end of the investigative trail for today. This doesn't look like Baker Street. This looks like Briar Road. Yes, it's late. And Mr. Naruhodo, did you discover anything that may be of use to you in the court tomorrow, do you think? Details about Mr. Shamspear, Mr. Garrett lodgings, the convict Selden. There are many facets to this case, and we're yet to see to the heart of it, if you ask me. We're not going to go to the Slug and Horn. That's my feeling, anyway.
I can't help wondering about the results of that analysis.
Into Mr. Natsume's tea, you mean?
Yes. Will they have found strychnine in it or not?
I believe that's how it's pronounced still. Well, I fear that either way. It will be hard to escape the grip of our friend, Mr. Reaper. Don't fear the Reaper. Mr. Sholmes. It's here. Yes. Barak Van Zeeks. In case you were confused with the actual Grim Reaper. But I wish you every success, of course. And though I was late to rise this morning, tomorrow will be a new dawn. I intend to spring from my bed at a crisp hour and attend the trial. You mean you're going to make it to the trial during the climax where I really need you?
Mr. Sholmes, you going to come?
Indeed. Whatever happens, I shall be there. Assuming my eyelids cooperate in the morning. Well, I think we've done all we can. All that's left is to remain focused and keep fighting for Mr. Natsume's cause until the very end. Hell yeah! Cue the music. London, the world's most prosperous city. Home to some 6 million people. That's more than the population of my entire country. And that's present day. But away from the razzle-dazzle, down back alleys and behind bricked-up windows, the lonely lurk. Seki-san had battled long and hard with loneliness during his many months here. And so I felt honor-bound to battle equally hard for my compatriot. To lift the curse that gripped him. As Mr. Sholmes said, tomorrow would be a new dawn. For all of us, the dawn of justice!